If you were asked to point out all the land owned by the United States, what would you point out? The continental US plus Hawaii and Alaska are certainly the most obvious, and most are familiar with our 5 territories, most notably Puerto Rico and Guam. This is forgetting something, however. Our 9 minor outlying islands located in the southwestern Caribbean and throughout the Central Pacific. These minor outlying islands include, from east to west, Navassa Island, a disputed claim with Haiti, Jarvis Island, Palmyra Atoll, Kingman Reef, Johnston Atoll, Baker Island, Howland Island, Midway Island, and Wake Island, a disputed claim with the Marshall Islands. In addition to these 9 islands, the United States also claims, but does not administer, 2 islands in the southwestern Caribbean, Bajo Nuevo Bank and Serranía Bank, both controlled by Colombia. These islands are collectively known as the U.S. Minor Outlying Territories, because none have any inhabitants outside of temporary military and research personnel. This does not mean, however, that the story behind the United States' acquisition of these islands is not interesting, beginning with the Industrial Revolution in the mid-19th century. Sparking technological and cultural changes throughout the Western world during the 1850s, the Industrial Revolution allowed for news of guano, deposits of seabird excrement used by South American societies as an incredibly effective fertilizer for centuries, to quickly spread to Britain. The first shipment of guano was sent from Peru to the British in 1840, and by the 1860s, hundreds of thousands of tons had been shipped to England, leading American companies to begin eyeing the industry. Seeking to encourage these ventures, the United States passed the Guano Islands Act, enacted on August 18, 1856. Simply, the law states, whenever any citizen of the United States discovers a deposit of guano on any island, rock, or key, not within the lawful jurisdiction of any other government, they may, at the discretion of the President, be considered as appertaining to the United States. In essence, this piece of legislation allowed, and technically still allows today, citizens to claim any unclaimed island, as long as the island has guano deposits. It wasn't that guano deposits didn't exist or couldn't form in territory already held by the US, but these islands had the perfect climate, hot and dry, to allow the deposits to solidify and be harvested. Over 100 islands have at some point been claimed for the US under this act. However, all of these claims no longer exist or remain dormant today, outside of 7 current minor outlying islands. Jarvis, Baker, and Howland Island, acquired October 28, 1856. Navassa Island, October 31, 1858. Johnston Atoll, September 6, 1859. Kingman Reef, February 8, 1860. And Midway Island, August 28, 1867. 2 other minor outlying islands were claimed by the U.S. through different means, Wake Island and Palmyra Atoll. The earlier of these to be claimed, Wake Island, was acquired on January 17, 1899. The U.S. planned to use this island as a strategic refueling and cable relay station for the rapidly expanding Navy, as it was located approximately halfway between Hawaii and East Asian territories, including the American island of Guam and foreign interests like the Philippines. On January 17, 1899, under orders from President McKinley, the commander of the USS Bennington landed on Wake Island and raised the American flag after a 21-gun salute. Midway Island would be chosen to host the cable relay station instead of Wake Island. However, the claim continues to exist. Palmyra Atoll, on the other hand, was acquired by different means. The atoll was first claimed by an American under the Guano Act in 1856. However, no guano deposits existed on the island, meaning the claim was never legitimized. 6 years following this, the Kingdom of Hawaii, then a sovereign nation, sent 2 Hawaiian citizens to the atoll who claimed it for the kingdom on April 15, 1862. It would remain under Hawaiian control until the kingdom was eventually annexed by the United States in 1898, making Palmyra and all of Hawaii an incorporated territory of the U.S. Obviously, Hawaii would later become the 50th state to join the Union in 1959. leaving Palmyra to remain as an incorporated territory of the US, meaning it's an outlier among our other minor outlying territories. Incorporated means the US Constitution applies within the territory, while unincorporated means it only applies partially. Palmyra Atoll is the only incorporated territory remaining. The previous, Hawaii and Alaska, became states, placing this atoll, with 0 inhabitants, above the 5 islands on which a collective 4 million Americans live. The second aspect of these statuses is organization. An organized territory means Congress has passed an organic act for the territory, laying out the structure of government within the region. The organized territories include 4 of the 5 inhabited territories, which have a need for government. Without an organic act passing Congress, a territory is considered unorganized, which includes all of the minor outlying territories because no local government is needed. The 2 minor outlying territories not administered by the US, Bajo Nuevo and Serranía Bank, are both claimed by the US as unorganized, unincorporated territories, despite the islands being administered by Colombia. Several other nations, including Jamaica and Nicaragua, claim these islands for themselves. These contradictory claims prompted the International Court of Justice to rule on the matter in 2012, upholding Colombian authority. Our minor outlying territories are an interesting footnote on American territory abroad, and despite being claimed for somewhat strange reasons in retrospect, it's important to understand the territorial evolution of our nation and keep in mind the Americans that live on our territories, albeit not these ones. This is 435 American. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in learning more about our 5 inhabited territories, check out this video from a while back in which I talk about Puerto Rico, Guam, the Northern Mariana Islands, American Samoa, and the US Virgin Islands.